Respectfully, I need you to hit me with that paddle. Yeah.
Okay.
Tell me if it charges.
Please keep that on the podcast so I can record it and then send it to him.
No. It's charging, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thank the desk. Jesus Christ. So great. Alright, so how you been?
Today's subject, slavery.
Oh, I'm leaving that in.
Guys, please don't cancel me. This is literally just a funny fucking video that
It's just
it is this dude with the mug.
Just a little ha. I don't know if that's his character or he's like 100% genuine. Like, people just don't know.
I don't know. Today's subject, slavery. The way he said it, and then nonchalantly just drank the fucking mug.
My favorite one from him is just like, he's at a Wendy's and he's like I'm here at Wendy's eating a cheeseburger. People ask how I'm feeling and he just eats it. Big ass bite, swallows it almost whole. And he goes, very suicidal.
Me! Oh, this is great.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Great. Love that.
So, hi everybody, welcome back to the Caffeinated Creeps podcast. This is episode 23. It feels like it's been a minute because it has been a minute. We haven't seen each other in like 2 weeks.
I miss you, Bestie.
I miss you too.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I was just like, I need to. She's mad with Michael because we gossip all the time too.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I just miss talking to you, bro. It's our weekly thing.
It is.
And then it's been like 2 weeks, and I was like, I miss my bestie. I miss you and Daisy and Nicole.
I miss getting out of the house.
Yeah. Yeah, we're stuck at home.
I mean, you could just be like, we're gonna go record. Drive somewhere.
And drive to the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And die.
Yeah, I mean, meanwhile, I got this new desk. I got a new setup.
Hell yeah, it looks great, y'all.
I know, it's so cool. And then about like a paper shredder, because I have like a shit ton of documents I gotta like get rid of, like any old papers.
Is it too hard to just shred it yourself?
No, like I do, but it just keeps piling up. And then we tried, like, we had a bonfire, and then we just put it in the fire, and it just got messy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, you know what? No, I'm just gonna buy a shredder. Like, just fuck it.
Yeah.
And plus, like, Daisy has a lot. My parents has a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So might as well just get rid of like a lot of paper.
So any updates these past 2 weeks?
Actually, yeah. This week I went for a drug test for the job. And it was very stressful because they had called me. I did the appointment this Tuesday, right? But they had called me on Thursday of last week. And they're like, first off, they fucking lied. They went, we've been trying to contact you since like this date. And I told them, no, you haven't. I have my text messages, my phone records, and my emails. The only time we've last talked was since here. And I'm like, I know. Like, you guys are fucking lying to me. But I was like, whatever. They're like, as long as you make the appointment, you're still fine. I was like, alright, whatever. Made the appointment, did the drug test. Everything was fine. I just need the results back at this point so I can continue.
You're gonna be positive.
I mean, the only thing I do is like fucking, I don't know, I want to say cocaine so bad.
That's an admission. Yo, they can listen to this, bro.
No, the only thing I do is just caffeine.
Yeah.
That's considered a drug. That's it.
Don't eat any poppy seeds.
I don't know where to get poppy seeds.
Well, you get, those little muffins with the little poppy seeds in
Oh,
it?
okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't eat those because it tests positive for drugs too.
Does it?
Yeah, it does.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's why my aunt, she's a bus driver for like the city, the county, and everything, and she's not allowed to eat poppy seeds at all. So when she's about to go on vacation, she eats a shit ton. Because they do like random drug tests and everything, and if you eat the poppy seeds, you test positive for drugs. I forgot which drug you test positive for.
That's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah. Let me see. Hold up. I'm gonna look it up real quick because now I'm interested. Opiates. Morphine
really?
And codeine. Yeah.
Oh shit! That's my friend.
Oh shit!
Eric, what the fuck are you doing over there?
Yeah, Eric, what the fuck are you doing over there? Sumi-kan.
Hold on, I gotta talk to him real quick.
Dude, so there's this couple that cosplay together that I know. And there's like, they broke up, right? And she announced their breakup on April 1st, and I was all like, oh damn, April Fools. And then a couple months later, she's like, nah, a couple hours later, she was like, no, like, we actually broke up. I forgot it was April 1st. She's like, we've been broken up now for like 2 weeks. And then she's all like, I'll probably explain more, like, on Close Friends. And then I replied to her story, because, like, we don't really talk. And then I was like, hey, so, like, you really don't owe an explanation to anybody at all whatsoever. I mean, you know, what happened. Like, if people are asking, you know, just ignore them. She's like, alright. She's like, I appreciate it and everything, but I kind of want to make some stuff a little bit clear. And I was like, okay, whatever, that's fine. So, I'm surprised that I was on her Close Friends, but I was low-key happy because I like the chisme.
Oh my fuck. It's the Mexican in us.
Yeah, well, apparently, like, he's very childish, which, I mean, makes sense. He's very childish, and he's very rude and disrespectful and everything, and she's just kind of done with him in a way. And I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense, and everything. Like, not only is he disrespectful, like, towards her, but to her parents as well. And I was like, okay, cool, it makes sense. They literally just graduated from high school last year, but they've been dating for like 2 years, almost 3, I think.
Damn.
So they've been dating for a while, and I mean, like, obviously she still loves the dude. You can tell because, like, she even posted on her Close Friends as well that she's been having issues, like, sleeping alone because she's been sleeping in the same bed with him for like a
I would
long time.
imagine because you get almost
attached.
No, like the codependency just becomes so strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, that's crazy.
On a lighter subject, I got a new codependency on that fucking sandwich we just had.
Oh my god, guys!
Dude,
we went back to that sandwich shop. It's because Michael always texts me. He's all like, "Okay, so what are we gonna eat on Sunday?" And
well,
like,
I like to be prepared.
Yeah, we like to be prepared. So then I suggested that sandwich shop, the local one. So we went. We were getting something different. We both got something different. I got a sandwich, like, it was like a Greek sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the Apollo 13. What was yours called?
The White Widow.
The White Widow.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Wait, like the serial killer?
What?
The bomber.
I was just thinking it was just a...
No, but the name of the sandwich.
Yeah, but I think it was just a play on, like, the sauce being white. I know, because you did the story on the White Widow.
That's what she's called, right?
Yes.
I'm not tripping?
Yes.
Oh,
but
shit.
I don't think it was meant after her.
I know it wasn't.
Okay.
Imagine.
I'm sure there's a serial killer themed restaurant / cafe out there. Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. Believe it or not, there's actually a cafe about the person who I'm going to talk about later. Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I'm excited.
I did not actually add that part into the story, but the disappointment in your face. It's because, like, it actually didn't add a lot to the end, but it's just, like, just a little interesting fact.
Nice, okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm very excited, my friend.
And you also, like, saved me halfway into the week. I was doing my story, and then you're like, oh man, I gotta do my true crime story. And I was like halfway into my story, which was a true crime. And I was like, oh shit.
You forgot?
Yeah, I did. So I fucking switched gears, I saved it, and I moved over to a different story. I was like, I would just save this shit for next week.
Imagine for us both coming up with, like, true crime.
That would have been so fucking funny. I mean, I think we still would have done it.
Yeah, I still would have done it. I was like, I don't care. Double true crime. But yeah. No, I started watching Wendigoon, like how you told me. Well, I was cooking.
Yeah. He's good background noise too.
Yeah,
and he knows people do that.
Yeah, I was cooking tilapia, right? I was gonna make some food. I was gonna make garlic butter, lemon tilapia. Dude, it was so fucking
That sounds good.
I made garlic butter and I added minced up garlic and mushrooms to it and everything. And then I didn't add lemon to it. I feel like it tastes weird if I added lemon to the butter.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like coat the butter onto the pan, put the tilapia in, and then I would add the fucking lemon to it. I don't know why. But
well, the chemicals interact differently
Okay. And then I tossed green beans in there too, and then I served it on top of white rice, and then I drizzled more lemon on top too. So fucking good, dude. I swear to God. Anyways, so I'm making this food while I'm watching Wendigoon, right? And it was like a 4-episode video, a 4-hour video, my bad. And it was the iceberg of serial killers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? Whatever. Like, I kind of want to watch this because I've been a little bit more interested because I went to the Museum of Death. After we recorded the 2 episodes, because we recorded on a Saturday, Sunday the next day is when I went to the Museum of Death on a date. I went to the Museum of Death and the Museum of Torture. So it was fun.
So romantic, by the way.
I know, right?
Great first spots for any dates, any romanticizers out there.
Yeah, I recommend 10 out of 10. But what's it called? Yeah, I mean, my boyfriend and I went, and it was really crazy. The Museum of Death, you can't record in there, but I knew what was gonna go down, but I still was shocked by what was gonna go down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, as soon as you walk in, there's like a small ass hallway. Immediately, it just slaps you with the Black Dahlia, and photos. And then you're just like, whoa, you know what I mean? But like, I've already seen the photos because the internet and I...
But have it like just slapped in your face like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then like newspaper clippings as well. And then as you go up the stairs, there's just a whole bunch of newspaper clippings next to you of like bombings and shit like that, like 9/11, and then actual newspaper clippings of like body parts. And I was like, how was this even okay to be released on like newspaper? You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure now they don't release shit like that.
God, no.
Yeah, all of that is censored now basically because the government likes to hide shit. But like back then and everything, like they showed it and that shit was on newspaper. And I don't know, it was really crazy, amazing. The only thing I just wasn't expecting was when I told you about the war crimes, photos of people that were like in war, like just seeing the face scraped off of a soldier from Afghanistan and everything, like in the Afghani war in 2001. It was fucked up because you can see the American soldier holding his head up, and then like this Afghanistan person with their whole face just basically shaved off. Like you can see everything underneath. It was obviously it's very graphic. No photos allowed. They had cult stuff in there, which is cool because you know how I have a fascination with cults and everything too. But I was just completely caught off guard with like when it came to like the war and shit like that. Especially right now, what's going on with like Palestine and everything. Like I can only imagine. One thing that I really did think that was also cool too is that they showed actual pictures of some people in the Nazi party, like top executives that were in the Nazi party that worked with Hitler. You get to see their photos of them dead, but there's no actual photo of Hitler dead. Yeah, and apparently Hitler had to be buried 3 different times because people kept trying to exhume his
So
grave.
I'm guessing there's like an unmarked grave, probably.
Yeah, well, I mean, it tells you in the end, I think, where it was at. I don't really remember. But yeah, they even had a whole little corner of like suicide. You just see like this person dangling from a tree.
Oh, like.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and then there's this person that like decided to shoot themselves like under their chin, like up. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. I mean, I'm not gonna say that's cool because it's morbid. It's gross. I mean, it was very interesting to look at, to see all these photos. But yeah, it's really It's really interesting. My sister's all like, I want to go, and I was like, no. She's like, I can handle it, and I was all like, I said I can handle it, and looking in there, I'm just like, okay, yeah. It's a lot. I mean, I was able to handle it, but it is a lot. Oh, not my favorite part, which is fucked up, but Heaven's Gate. I feel like it's because it's like the most stuff that I saw there, but Heaven's Gate, the cult, those people that ate the applesauce.
I thought it was Kool-Aid.
No, that's a different one. Hold up, now I'm going crazy.
Maybe you're right. That if it's Applegate. If it's Heaven's Gate, Applegate. I'm getting it mixed up. They probably for sure ate something. I think I don't remember what.
I'm pretty sure it was Heaven's Gate.
I think I'm gonna go to Riverside as enemy Riverside as a fucking maid now.
You gonna do it?
Because my friends like the vendors are gonna be there in enemy Riverside.
Oh my goodness. Because I thought it was Kool-Aid too and everything, and then specifically they were like, no, the guy that was working there, he's like, no, it was applesauce. And I was like, cool. I was like, oh, because I was like, it could be wrong, but I think it was Kool-Aid. I think the Kool-Aid one was a cult in Africa. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm wrong. But anyways, I'm pretty sure it was the applesauce. But basically it was like behind a window. And you see two mannequin figures on bunk beds. And basically like when you looked inside, there's like bunk beds, there's blankets, there's the clothing that they're wearing. You see like a telescope inside, like some books and shit like that. And then we were talking to the worker because my boyfriend's too social. He likes to talk to people. But I was actually getting really into the conversation too. And the worker was all like, literally everything in here is one of the last missing pieces we have from Heaven's Gate. Everything else has been destroyed.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, see, now I kind of want to go there.
They just wanted to destroy it, and then the owner of the museum was like, wait a minute, like, come on, ours is about death. Like, let us take some stuff.
Yeah.
So they did take some stuff and everything, and then he's like, now it's preserved and everything because it's history. A morbid history, but history is history.
Yeah, history is history.
Yeah, so I was just like, that's really interesting. And then after that section, you can go back down. You can go down another set of stairs to the rest of the museum because it's really small. The bigger Museum of Death is in New Orleans, and I want to go to that one too. But you go down, and then
if we ever tour, and we happen to be in New Orleans, we gotta fucking go.
Yes. Oh my god, yes. Anyways, so we're going down the stairs, and then halfway down, my boyfriend is all like, "Hey, are those body bags?" And I was like, "You just noticed that?" He's like, "I thought they were sleeping bags," and I was like, "No, they're fucking body bags, dude." And they were just like hung up like if they were flags. Like, they're not promoting it like, woo, they're flags, you know, but they were just hanging them up.
Yeah. And
everything. And then, like, at first I had looked at it and I was like, oh, interesting, like, flags or whatever. And I was like, wait, no, those are body bags. And then, and as we were saying that, one of the workers was coming up. But honestly, we couldn't tell who was a worker and who wasn't because they were just wearing ordinary clothes. And then he stops and then he turns around and he talks to us and then he's like, yeah, they're actual body bags. And then my boyfriend, he's all like, are they, like, new or, like, are they used?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
And then the guy's all like, honestly, like, I don't know. He's like,
recycled.
He's all like, I genuinely don't know. And then I'm pretty sure they might be used because, like, with the shit ton of people that died during COVID and everything, they kind of just put them in the body bags to the refrigeration. So, and I was like, okay, do they, like, hose it down, like, if somebody's bloodier for whatever reason? But, like, I don't know. The only body bags I've seen are black body bags that I've seen at work. Mm-hmm. You know, when a patient does pass.
I think that's, like, the one that everybody, like, mostly associates it with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if those body bags are just, like, the ones that, like, hospitals do. But they were different colors. There was, like, red, yellow, green, and blue.
I would imagine different colors represent different things. But
that, too. Or maybe they're just random.
Maybe. Yeah.
But yeah, and then I saw a body bag, a really small body bag for, like, children, and I was like, oh, that's pretty sad.
It's sad that they had to make it that size, but yeah.
And then they had a whole shelf of skulls, and one of the main things that I wanted to see, too, was just a skull with open head injury from, like, the Native Americans, because they used to do fucking brain surgery too, with like their tools and shit like that. And I wanted to see if I can find like an actual skull with that there. And no, but I did find one that did happen to have like surgery, and they needed like brain surgery, and they needed their skull, a piece of their skull removed or whatever. So it was really cool too. I saw an actual cloth of mummy, like that mummies were like mummified with. So that was really cool too. And then I think I saw like a mummied foot too. But I mean, some of the stuff is really high and it's kind of hard for me to see, so I had to go on my tiptoes to see some things.
You should have been a fucking stool.
No, they had a shit ton of taxidermied animals and bugs too, which was really cool. Preserved, like 2-headed animals, like in jars and everything, which I expected, like oddities like that. And then something that was really morbid too is that we were still talking to that one worker about like the body bags or whatever. We weren't talking about body bags anymore, but I forgot what the conversation segued into. But I was looking at this little like notebook, and they had colored pencils there, and then like people can, I guess, write their names there. I guess kind of like, you know, when you attend a funeral, you get to write in that notebook or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess, and then a lot of couples were putting like their names in like a heart and everything, and I was like skipping through it and everything, and then like yeah, like I left it, and then my boyfriend's looking at it, and then he draws a little heart, and then he puts his name. He's like, sign your name, and I was like, oh really? He's like, yeah. So I signed my name in there too. So I guess our little heart thingy is in the Museum of Death. You just see it there.
That's cute.
And then they also had like a little movie theater in there too. It's just a shit ton of TVs put in together, and it was an actual footage of how they prepare bodies like in Mexico, because everything was in Spanish, and they were speaking like Mexican Spanish, like the way that they talk. So I understood what they were saying and like the way that they were preparing the bodies, and I was like, damn. But yeah, I kept watching it. I was surprised that my boyfriend looked away, but he just doesn't like blood in tubes. And then when they started like draining shit, he's all like, yeah, I'ma just look the other way, and he did. But I was just watching it the whole time. But yeah, it was really cool. Oh, there's also this one dude that I really want to cover. I forgot his name. But the thing is that it might be hard to cover. I might cover him for Creepy Caffeinated Chronicles or something. But I just want to talk about the life of this dude. He was like a total anarchist, and he wanted to bring back rock and roll violent. You know what I mean? So he would have concerts, and on concerts he would self-mutilate himself, like stab himself, cut himself, and stuff like that. Like he would set shit on fire. Like he was crazy, right? And he says that one of the things that he had been wanting to do was to kill himself on stage as well. And he didn't do it. He was found dead in I think in a hotel room over an overdose and everything that he was wearing is on the mannequin that was right next to it. Oh, shit. Like that, like they had a whole fucking mannequin that looked exactly like him. Like it wasn't a wax figure, it was just like a mannequin body. Yeah. But what he was wearing like when he died and stuff like that. And I was like, that's really weird. And this dude was just fucking crazy. Like, not even I don't even think it was like political shit. He just loved violence.
Dude was just nuts.
Yeah, he was just nuts and everything. And I was like, okay, this is pretty interesting. But yeah, it was really, really cool. And then we saw like a shit ton of coffins too. And then they had a whole section of like the embalming and shit like that. Like the old tools that they used to use back in the day. And then I looked at the embalming like fluids, and I was all like, forbidden Kool-Aid. Because they're all funny looking colors. I was like, I wonder if that one tastes like green apple. I wonder if that one tastes like, you know, like grapes.
I'm trying to drink tea here.
Oh, my bad. But yeah. Going back to Wendigoon. I got so off topic.
Yes, you did.
Anyways, I'm cooking this food, right? And I'm watching...
It was like 15 minutes ago.
And I'm watching the video and everything. And then I'm just like, because it's the iceberg of serial killers. And I was all like, okay, I'm probably going to know like a good like 1 or 2 tiers at least. No, I got through like a good 4 or 5 tiers down, and I still knew some of the killers. Not all of them. But I knew some of them. Like, I may not remember their names, but I was like, this dude sounds familiar. Like, I know exactly how this person killed, like I remember like small bits and pieces, and I was like, holy shit. I actually know a lot. And I want to continue watching it because I think I got into like a good 2 hours into it, like halfway through.
Wait until you watch the Conspiracy Iceberg Theory. That's 9 hours long. I watched all of it.
Oh, God.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And, like, the way that you were talking about Wendigoon, so cool, dude. He is so cool. He's all like, I'm not doing this for entertainment. He's all like, I don't talk about these serial killers for entertainment. I don't even like, he doesn't even like mentioning serial killers at all because of that. Which is kind of fucked up because I'm mentioning a serial killer in my story.
One of the things I liked the most about him was that I know you have a problem with like churches and like you have your own like past history with it.
Yeah.
And like he is religious, but he always like if he ever covers like a religious thing, like a story of like a Bible or whatever, he always tries to make sure that it's just his belief, and he's like, whatever you guys believe in, like focus on that.
Yeah,
like, he's such a sweet dude.
Stuff like that is I don't mind stuff like that at all.
He's such a sweet guy.
Did I tell you that I blocked somebody at WonderCon?
No.
Okay. Because of religion. So, is it really a convention if there aren't any protesters there saying that we're gonna go to hell?
There's always one.
Yeah, but there was like a good 6 or 7 of them, right? And they had like a good, 3 or 4 tall signs and everything, and they were like yelling at us. And I was dressing up as the human version of Nero from Black Clover, and she happens to have horns, right? So I had horns and I had red contact lenses on. My feet were hurting, so I was leaving the convention, and I had to pass by them. And I like that sheriffs were there and everything too. So they told me, don't pass right in front of them. You have to go the long way. And I was like, cool, I'll go the long way. So I'm going the long way, but because I had stopped to talk with the workers that were telling me to go the other way, they saw my devil horns and they kept like just telling me shit. They were basically saying that I had to turn back to God and this and that or whatever. And I just ignored them because I was in so much pain. So I left and everything, but I recorded a snippet of them because they're clowns, right? And then as I'm coming back, I had better shoes on because it's my feet that were hurting. I had better shoes on, and basically like they're like, parents, do you really want your children here with all these lesbians and these dykes? And I was just like, what the fuck? Yeah. So, like obviously like I already filmed them. I just went back inside because I didn't want to hear them. But what's so cool is that the workers that like for the custodians, I guess they were told to park their cars, their golf carts. It's not golf carts, but they were basically like golf carts where they carry the big old trash cans. Like the
mini carts, yeah.
Yeah, where they carried the big old trash cans like in the back. They parked it right in front of the protesters, back to back. They parked 2 of them back to back. And it covered the protesters. You could still see their signs over the carts, but they were blocked in that corner. And the protesters couldn't go anywhere else because the rest were just trees. So you wouldn't be able to see their signs at all. So, what's it called? So I had filmed that, and then that night, at the convention, it was the first night. It was Saturday. I had gone back to the hotel room with my boyfriend, and we were eating, and I get a message from a follower of mine, and I had followed him back, and he's like a collector, but he really liked my cosplay, so that's the reason as to why he followed me. But he's religious, right? And we have talked about religion before because I post a lot of stuff regarding religion sometimes, once in a while. Like just sometimes I like to make fun of Christianity. Like I just make fun of Christianity because I used to be a Christian. So it's just like my little like, oh, I'm picking at it just a little bit because it's the way I cope. And so he's Christian, so he'll like always comment on it. And sometimes we get like into talks, and it kind of got to the point where he was getting annoying. But he doesn't message me every single week about it. You know what I mean? Like every couple months or whatever. Like we had a good maybe like 3 or 4 conversations regarding religion before. And then this time he was basically telling me like about that and like how that's not good and how the Bible says this and the Bible says that. And then I was like, yeah, and I kind of told him what they were telling me because they saw my devil horns. And then he's like, yeah, that's not good. He's like, but, and then after I told him that, he was telling me, yeah, that's not good. And he was like, I'm sorry that you had to go through it. And I was like, it's whatever. Is it really a convention without any religious protesters? And then he told me, I think you should give Christianity another chance. And I was all like, what? And then he told me what church he goes to. And then he told me where it's at. And then he's all like, every Friday our youth get together. And I wouldn't be here without them. He's like, I think you should give them a chance and everything. When I had already told him why I want nothing to do with it anymore. And like, you know, like, and he just does that. So I didn't respond, but I was literally eating as I was, you know, like, messaging this guy, and like, I'm telling my boyfriend everything, like, because he's all like, that's kind of dumb because my boyfriend's Christian as well. And then as soon as I saw that, I threw my phone. I'm being fucking honest. I threw my phone at the table and everything. And then I was all like, look at this shit. And then my boyfriend grabs the phone and he reads it. And then he's like, this is bullshit. And he like gives it back to me. And then I blocked the guy. I was like, I'm not going to deal with it. It's like, I'm not. I was all like, you know, like, at this moment in my life, I want nothing to do with religion. I have no issue with religion at all. And everything. I love learning about religion. I love learning about Christianity. There's so many cool things that I've read in the Bible. And there's so many fucked up things I've read in the Bible too. You know, like, that's just my 2 cents. And stuff like that. Like, you know, like, I've read a little bit of the Satanic Bible and everything, like the Catholic Bible. I've been wanting to read the actual books that were taken out of the Bible, like the Book of Adam and Eve. And then supposedly, like, Adam kept crying and crying and crying to the point where he died because he didn't want to go look for food after they were kicked out from the Garden of Eden. And then God brought him back to life and was all like, bro, no, you're not gonna die like that. Like, try to live. Goddamn, you know? And so, like, that's why, like, I find religion so interesting. I just don't want to be in it, at least in this moment of my life, you know? Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, what the heck? Like, I just don't like that. I don't like it. Like, I don't want to convert to anything. And people just don't respect that. Well, you should give it another chance. You should do this. You should do that. Many people have told me that. And I just kind of, like, had enough. I had a breaking point, and then I just immediately, I had to block this guy. I was like, I don't want to have another conversation with this guy ever again in my life. So I blocked him. Which I think is valid. I feel like I should have blocked him the first time. But I was like, that's a little mean, you know? Like, just because we have differences of opinions. But then it got to the point where I was like, no, I'm done. I'm tired of this.
There's no need to shove it down my throat, even though I told you I don't want it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's go to my story.
How much of that do you want? Do you want me to just leave it all in?
Honestly, I'm gonna let you take the wheel. You can keep all of it. You can scratch all of that off. That's fine.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know, Michael.
I mean, none of it's bad. I guess I will leave some of it in.
Oh, that's what the country's called. I was wondering what it was called. Okay. So I'm covering a serial killer. But you've never heard of her before.
Okay, yeah, probably. You're probably right.
And I've never heard of her before.
That's a lie.
I'm being honest, I've never heard of her before. And her name is Milka Pavlovic. And she was born in 1905 in the small village of Kokinac. Or Kokinac. And the country is called Yugoslavia. I don't know if it's still a country. And at some point, because there's really no history at all for growing up, but at some point she eventually marries this dude named Rod?
Raid Shadow Legend? Our sponsor for today's episode?
Rade Pavlovic. So she marries this dude, right? Mm-hmm. And she moved into his home and she started working as a milkmaid. She was childish.
What the fuck is a milkmaid? Is it just like what, like delivering milk to people? Like a milkman?
A girl or woman who milks cows.
Huh.
Or does other work in a dairy farm.
Okay.
So, she was childless. I said childish earlier, my bad. She was childless and was described to be a bitter woman. And she was also pretty poor, and a lot of the villagers were all like, yeah, she's poor. So, which is kind of weird because it said she was regarded as poor by her fellow villagers. So, around March 1934, she decided to buy arsenic from a local pharmacy under an alias, aiming that it was for killing rats. So she took the poison home and put it in her husband's food. He soon began vomiting violently and soon died. His death was not regarded as suspicious, and Milka inherited his estate since the couple had no children. Over the next couple months, Milka would poison other relatives, and their servants were poisoned as well. Mainly the Jagodik household. And as a result, 4 were admitted to a clinic in Zagreb, complaining of terrible cramps in their stomach. The widow, Slavka Jagodik, her daughter Sava, an unnamed servant and a close relative of the family, eventually succumbed to the illness or whatever and ended up dying shortly after admission. 9 other living members survived but were left with the after effects of the poisoning. So, skip forward to July 2nd, and another strange death occurred. The family's Romani blacksmith Miso, I don't know how to say this, G, because this is how the last name is spelled, Gjurgje.
Oh, jeez, don't even try it. Jesus Christ.
The blacksmith Miso G died, writhing in agony, exactly like how the others did before him. This raised eyebrows in the village, and they were quick to point out a person of interest, which was Milka.
That makes sense.
Because her husband passed away the same way, just months before.
Yep.
She was arrested. I'm literally almost done.
Jeez, you just started! You just started!
Dude, I told you this was so freaking short. I thought it was going to be longer.
I thought, oh yeah, I'm going to have to leave like all that in.
Like, you said yours was 5 pages long.
Yeah, but you already got us at like the 40-minute mark alone, so...
Milka was arrested, and the prosecutor's office ordered that the victims be exhumed and tested for arsenic poisoning. At first, she protested that she was innocent, but eventually she admitted that she did in fact poison their victims in order to acquire their wealth. So,
always about money.
When they finally like did the autopsies again for the arsenic poisoning, it did confirm with her confession that there was lethal quantities of arsenic that was found in their systems. And according to Milka, she poured the poison into biscuits, salt, and any other food while she was alone cooking in the kitchen, and then served it to her guests. After a 6-day trial, she was found guilty on all counts and sentenced to death. During her trial, it was also revealed that she had planned to dispose of a 2-year-old child who was the heir of an inheritance with the poisoned loaf of bread, but was stopped in the nick of time by her child's mother.
Jesus, 2 years old?
Yeah.
She's evil.
She was brought to, I don't know the place. It's pronounced Bjelovar, where she was executed by hanging on May 18th, 1935. The end. Do you want to see a picture of this buffoon?
Sure, but just to recap, she almost killed the 2-year-old. She got caught, hanged. The end. Okay.
Yeah. Well, she killed 6 people.
No, yeah, I know, but like I'm just summarizing the end.
Oh shoot! No, what'd I do?
Yeah, she looks mean and bitter.
She looks like a bitch.
Yep. Meanwhile, I got a photo of my guy too.
Yeah.
He has only had 2 photos in existence.
Oh shoot! This is crazy. I think this is the only photo of her. Yeah, this is her mugshot actually.
You want to see my guy?
Hell yeah.
Before I get started on mine, since there's only 2 pictures of him to really look at, throughout almost any piece of media, history, like whatever you look at, they'll only really use one photo, and that's because it's like almost a full body shot. and it sort of creeps me out because I asked my dad if he saw something in the picture. He goes, "No, I don't see it." I'm like, right here in this little corner, like, there's a face right there watching over the dude's shoulder.
Oh, hell no.
And he's like, "Nope, I don't see it." And then I asked Daisy. I'm like, "Daisy, do you see something over his shoulder?" It's like, "Yeah, it looks demonic. You can see like the sunken eyes, the nose, the teeth, like right here."
I'm excited.
I asked my cousins. They said yes, except for one of them. Fucking bitch. Okay.
Can I say something real quick to finish it off? So I was like, okay, this is pretty short. I was like, I gotta look for some stuff. Like, so I go on YouTube, right? See if there's like a documentary or some shit like that. I searched up her name. The only thing that kept popping up is this pop singer from like in a different country, and
No
like
way.
her fucking auditions from like the whatever her country's version of is like of The Voice essentially, or like America's Got Talent. So I was like, you go, sis. And it was like, rock on.
Have you seen like clips? I think if it's like India's version of like America's Got, like a version of America's Got Talent, or like The Voice or whatever. Some of those clips are so funny because like there's this guy who's like, it's like I'm the fastest reader in the world. And he'll open up this book and he just start yelling. Ah! He's like, ha! Ha! He's like, I'm reading it so fast, it just sounds like I'm yelling. But he's just yelling.
Every time I think about the fastest reader in the world, I think of Trisha Paytas. Dude, she's done so many fucking side quests. I swear to God,
Yeah,
she's been everywhere, dude.
I love the fucking place.
She's been everywhere.
Right. So.
Oh, by the way, y'all, I'm drinking coffee and Michael's drinking tea. Yeah. We have switched sides.
For today.
Fortel College.
Fortel College.
I've been wanting to watch. Have you started watching it?
What?
The
documentary?
Yeah.
Dude, I've been done with it for like almost a month.
You finished it?
Dude, it's only 4 episodes.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that. I haven't even started it.
Oh, dude, it's so bad.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been wanting to watch it. I've been watching One Piece still. I've been trying to catch up.
That's your problem. You're watching like literal trash compared to like informative shit. Right. So, my story is on the man who sold his soul to the devil.
Oh.
The man who helped.
The Night Stalker?
No, the man who helped the blues, and the man who they say created rock and roll. Robert Johnson. Look, so this is one of his 2 photos that exists, right? Do you see something on the top right corner? Does it not look like a face? Right? You can see like the forehead, like the big 2 like sunken eyes right there.
Oh, okay. So like you're assuming like is this the chin?
Yeah.
The chin, the eyes, the face right here. I mean, it looks like an alien.
It looks more demonic to me than an alien.
I think it looks like an alien. But I get it. I see the face though. I get it. I get what you're saying. But yeah, I see it.
Just like watching, I don't know why, like that was almost so creepy to look at every time I kept doing the research, and he looks unhappy in the picture. Like he looks terrified over his life.
Nice. I mean.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got it. But it's like
interesting.
Right.
Interesting.
So, believe it or not, I even used Wendigoon for this one too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but not
Wendigoon. If you're listening to this, which I doubt, we love you.
I only used like 1 minute section for this. So, Crossroads can be seen. Oh, actually, hold on. I should also reiterate. The story isn't just about Robert himself, but there's a lot of history that's about to that I'm going to try to explain.
Hell yeah.
There's more that goes into it because it almost branches into different things.
Mm-hmm.
And to just talk about it all in one succession would be way too long.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just explain it a little bit about each thing. And then maybe I'll talk about it a little here, or maybe save it for a creepy caffeinated chronicle thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the legends of the Crossroads, right, can be seen as being between both the physical and the spiritual world. Crossroads means you aren't standing on a direct set path. Winnigoon, again the YouTuber, said it best by saying, quote, "It is the complete state of being in between. In other words, if you're standing at a crossroads, you're not only here or there, but you're not even on a direct path from one location to another. You're at the very intersection of intersections." Unquote. So I'll start this off with a little history lesson. Hoodoo, a form of spiritual connections that originated in Congo Cosmogram in Central Africa. In the Central African tellings and practices, hoodoo represents rising and setting of the sun, of human life, death, and our rebirth. Which is crazy because there's even like a little diagram of like an actual intersection too. It'll show like the different phases of like the weather, like spring, fall, summer, winter, and then like the moon cycles and everything. Like it all just always makes a 4-way intersection, no matter how you make it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, yeah, I can see it because it also is just one big circle too. Like life is just continuous, basically. So that's from Central Africa. Moving over to the west, the Yoruba people, they believe in a deity, a trickster deity named Ishu Elegba, that lives at the crossroads.
Ooh.
Many people would leave offerings to Ishu. However, the word Ishu Elegba doesn't exist in Hoodoo because the names of African deities were lost during slavery. Though it's believed that African spirits were brought over to the U.S. during the transatlantic slave trade. The word Papa Legba can be heard
I've heard of him before.
Yeah, I knew your ears were going to ring on that one. Can be heard among those who practice voodoo and spiritual connections.
He's mentioned in American Horror Story too.
Papa Legba was also portrayed in season 3 and 8 of American Horror Story. Yeah, I fucking knew it.
Be careful when saying his name.
I only meant it in educational purposes here.
Yes.
No offense to him.
Please don't kill us.
Well, I mean, first off, you don't believe in that shit.
Yeah. I know, but like you.
Yeah, I know I do, but I don't mean it with like ill intent here. This is solely for educational reasons, even though I may be butchering the shit out of it. With these practices and offerings at the crossroads came the stories of selling one soul to the devil on the crossroads to obtain or to learn something. It is believed that going to a crossroads either at midnight or just before sunrise, you will see a tall black man who some will claim is the devil. Others will claim it is the trickster god Papa Legba. Upon meeting this man, he will grant your wish or ignore you entirely.
Ooh.
Yeah. Which now brings us the man of the topic of our story, the very legend, Robert Johnson. Born on May 8th, 1911 in Hazelhurst, Mississippi, his mother Julia Dodds and his father Noah Johnson, though she wasn't married to Noah. Julia was married to a man named Charles Dodds. She had 10 kids with Charles. Charles, being a successful landowner and furniture maker, was forced out by a lynch mob due to arguments with white landlords at the time. So Julia left Hazelhurst with baby Robert and returned to Charles in Memphis, Tennessee, about 2 years later. It's here that in Memphis that Robert would begin to love and gain knowledge of the blues. As years passed, Robert would learn of his real father's name and would adopt his last name, Johnson, even putting it in all of his future documents. You're going to hate this part. Shortly around this time, he met and married his 14-year-old wife, Virginia Travis.
Disgusting.
He was 18 at the time.
Disgusting.
I know, it's so bad. Dude,
I mean, I understand that's how it was in the times.
Mm-hmm. But reading that,
it's fucked up.
When I was reading that, it took me back a second. It was like, no fucking way.
I'm sorry, but how can you look at a 14? Because, like, dude, 14-year-olds back then looked like babies. 14-year-olds now, because of the shit ton of makeup that they wear, I understand that they look a little bit older. You know what I mean? But still, they're children. You know what I mean? Like, children are children. But, like, you've seen pictures, like, 14-year-old me literally looked like a snot-nosed child.
I still look the same.
Like, come on. You know what I mean? Like, how the fuck are you gonna look at a 14-year-old and be like, yeah, that's gonna be my wife?
Yeah, you're gonna hate this next part.
Oh, God.
Shortly after, shortly after being married, on February of 1929, she would die from childbirth. Surviving relatives of Virginia claimed that it was a divine punishment due to Robert's pact with the devil. Like, way down the line. Yeah, it's...
Okay.
Why'd you say it like that? Wow, okay. Okay, so from 1932 to 1938, Robert would begin traveling between Memphis, Tennessee, and Helena, Arkansas, playing in different towns all over for tips on street corners, and even in front of barbershops and even some restaurants. It's also worth mentioning at the time that Robert really wasn't talented with the guitar at the time. But apparently he had
I think I know the story.
Do you?
As soon as he said he wasn't really talented with the guitar. Okay, continue. Okay. I'm sorry.
He really wasn't talented with the guitar at the time. But apparently he disappeared for some time, and when he came back, he was able to play as if he was a master. Through the years, it's said that when he was playing for people, Robert never focused on his own dark songs that he wrote. Instead, he had quite the talent of pleasing his audience by performing well-known songs. Robert was also known to have quite an ear, having the ability to pick up on any song after first hearing it. The year now being 1936, Robert had begun to record for 3 days straight in San Antonio, Texas, where he recorded 16 songs. He then traveled to Dallas, Texas during June 19th through the 20th and recorded the other half of his songs. In total, Robert was able to record a sum of about 29 songs, with each having like about one or two alternative takes. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, that would make up his entire discography. Like, that's it. It's 29 songs. His songs were released within the following year of 1936, going into 1937. But just as his music career was finally about to start, so was his death. Robert Johnson had died on August 16th of 1938 at the young age of 27, with the cause of his death being unknown. His death wasn't even reported publicly. On Robert's death certificate, it only shows the date and location with no formal autopsy ever being done. One theory claims his death to be syphilis. The second theory was that a mad husband towards Robert because he was talking to his wife. This theory does have some backing to it, as some blues musicians that were with Robert claimed. A musician named Sonny Boy Williamson. He claims that Robert was indeed flirting with the married woman at a dance. She handed Robert a bottle of whiskey, which apparently Robert never refused a bottle. Sonny slapped the bottle out of Robert's hands and told him he shouldn't drink from a bottle that he never personally saw opened. Robert replied to Sonny saying, quote, "Don't ever knock a bottle out of my hand," unquote. To which the woman handed him another bottle. The next morning, Robert was reported to feel ill. Over the next 3 days, he began to grow even worse.
Yeah, homie got drugged.
It was said that he died in a convulsive state of pain. Though this theory sounds like a true crime story, it's
arsenic?
They tried to debunk if it was poison. Mm-hmm. Because Sonny thinks that not only the man was trying to kill Robert, but the wife as well.
Maybe it was a coordinated attack.
Yeah. So he thinks that they were trying to kill him. Because one of the ways that he thinks they were trying to kill him was like... I think back then, if they had just dipped like some sort of like cotton balls into the alcohol, it had something in it. And like if it dissolved, it kind of released like a poison or something. I had read it. But when forensic people tried doing that now, it would have left a particular smell and taste too. Mm-hmm. So even if Robert was quite the drinker too. So even he probably would have been disgusted by his taste and smell. So he's like, even if it was, there's no way he would have gone through drinking it.
Unless he was too out of it or just didn't care.
There was a quote I also read that there was two things he could never turn down. It was a fine woman and a bottle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just living life after his poor 14-year-old wife died.
That was like in 29. He did remarry, I think, a few years later, too.
Was she also 14?
No, I don't think so.
Good.
Right, we can't actually confirm that it was poison, though. And second, if it was poison, that means both the man and the woman who had killed Robert managed to get off scot-free. Which brings us to the final and most important topic, that his deal that Robert had made with the Crossroads was finally up. The debate is still up in the air as to which crossroad Robert had made the deal of his life on. But the most likely candidate is that it is thought to be the routes 61 and 49 in Clarksdale, Mississippi. Throughout the music industry, especially when it comes to rock and roll, it's surprising how many artists had finally had their breakthrough only for them to die within a few years, with some even claiming that they had too sold their soul to the devil. My dad is also like really into rock and roll, right? And he also loves the story of Crossroads because it's history, and it's also history about the rock and roll. So he's also familiar with it. He also feels like it has some weight to it because he was telling me that there are a number of musicians that he's like, they didn't really get their fame as they were playing. Only when they died that like they finally got their recognition, and then after that, like, no one, could get them at that point.
But this is actually something that Jaime and I were talking about on Friday too. No, it wasn't like Tentacion, right? And like Lil Peep, how like a lot of people because I told him straight up, I was all like, everybody told me to listen to X because they thought that I'd like his music because I was like emo and like depressed or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But because I knew he was a woman beater, I was like, I'm not gonna listen to this guy. And then he died, and then I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll listen to a couple of his songs. He's dead now. So I listened to a couple of his songs, and I like his music, but I only listened to it after he died because I was interested in it. You know what I mean?
Well, that's one of the things that me and my dad were talking about, or is that we think that the price is only the artist's reward is only given after their death. Because he was giving me like a list. He gave me like 4 names, but we came up with more this morning of like artists that were like really popular, but they didn't hit their stride just yet. Only after dying that they get more popular. And it's like, it's sad to say that, like, it takes death to make that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So he had given me the names of Randy Rhoads, who had died at the age of 25, Jimi Hendrix, who died at the age of 27,
Damn.
Jim Morrison, who died at the age of 27, Stevie Ray Vaughan, who died at the age of 35, and Robert Johnson, who died at the age of 27. This morning we talked about a few more people too, including like even Selena.
Oh.
Yeah. She died like at, what, 23? Almost 23, 24?
Yeah.
And now she was already popular, and she was getting more popular, but her music and career skyrocketed after her death. And like, obviously,
still to this day,
yeah,
we're still gonna fuck up Yolanda. Like,
yeah. And like the thing with Robert is that because he's also seen as like helping the creation of rock and roll, like people still talk to him like about him close to like 100 years later.
Yeah.
So like,
amazing.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is like, yes, you can take this with a grain of salt, obviously.
Yeah.
Don't take this shit for facts.
Yeah.
But it's just almost interesting to see all these dots sort of connect of like artists who are hitting their stride in the music industry, but it just takes their death for everything to just push forward. We tried talking about with even Michael Jackson, like how that would work, but we were like, no, because he had already passed his prime, and he had already reached like major popularity regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was already old too at that point. I don't know. It was something for us to like think about in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was also like the story when it talked about Selena, of that girl who claimed that she was in hell, and she saw Selena there. But even if you don't, like, I can understand, because it's a ridiculous story too. It's just legend.
Yeah.
But even if, whether or not you believe in it, he is still talented and gifted us a huge genre of music.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's still pretty fucking cool regardless.
That's wild.
Yeah. One of the most upsetting things after his death was that Robert had... Oh, I think I even put it right here, too. After his death, Robert had gotten his recognition after his death. Several music labels had gone to search for Robert after hearing his songs, but found out of his untimely death. Only ever making 29 songs, his legend still talked about many years later. Though even now he is still... even now, though, he is buried somewhere in an unmarked grave. There are like 3 headstones that you can kind of go around and find, but they're not the official sites. Did you got some of the names, right? Of like from like his songs, right? So like how they were kind of themed.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, so to leave this off with a sort of like chilling thing, I found out myself, but I'm sure like people who are more obsessed with this stuff than me found out too. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. In his songs collections, King of the Delta Blues Singers, the song names given almost a full story of how he came across the Crossroads, how he met the devil, how he made the deal, how he regrets his deal, and how he wishes he could have control over his judgment, and finally, how he is with the devil, and how the devil forever tortures him by sending hellhounds towards him. With the song's titles going in order of the story of the Crossroads Blue, If I Had Possession over Judgment Day, Stones in My Pathway, Me and the Devil Blues, Hellhound on My Trail, and the last one hitting especially hard as apparently Robert was always haunted by dreams of being chased by hellhounds. He always had nightmares of hellhounds.
Dang.
Which was just really unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, and I thought I'm going to end this off here by actually I did manage to find... I feel like a lot of this is just... To sum up the entire story thing, it's just... Take it with a grain of salt. Including this last part. His final words. Though it's not certain if he said it or it was written down by him. Regardless, it was from him. His final words being, quote, I pray that my Redeemer will come and take me from my grave, unquote. And that's all I got. But when I was doing... I think most of the research took more time because of the first, like, segments. Because I was thrown off to, like, Papa Legba. And then, that is so unfortunate. And then, there's more meanings to Crossroads, unlike Brazilian mythology, Greek mythology. Like, they have their own meanings over there. Mm-hmm. And people still, like, leave offerings for the African tellings. The deity is more associated close to, like, St. Peter. That apparently Papa Legba has more connections closer to St. Peter. He's seen as more good, I guess. Neutral to good. Mm-hmm. And then in Brazilian mythology, their version of the Crossroads and the deity there is more demonic. It's more closer to the devil. Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Like, because it's Brazil?
No, I feel like just some religions that think it's the devil, other religions thinks it's good. I feel like that has to do with a lot of paganism and Christianity.
Yeah, like...
And Catholicism. It's like, they're two sides of the same coin.
It also, I mean, yeah, because especially with those, like, reaching countries, like, they're really religious, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can see that.
That's pretty interesting. What was the album that you said again?
King of the Delta Blues Singers.
Crossroad Blues, Terraplane Blues, Coming On in My Kitchen, Walking Blues.
But
wow.
I could be looking way into it. Way into it. That's just a part of me that, you know, obviously is the believer in this shit. Mm-hmm. But also a part of me that wants the legend of a guitar player like that to also be true. Because it's pretty cool. Me and my dad still think that maybe there are still artists to this day that have found their own Crossroads, like their own version.
Oh, like Doja Cat, how everybody genuinely believes she sold her soul.
Yeah.
Well, did she did or not? I mean, I know Hollywood and all that shit's creepy as fuck, and it's a cult.
But I mean, you also gotta think about it where she almost had little to no recognition until she did one song, which was Moo, and then it just sparked. It literally just shot
Imagine getting famous because the lyrics of your song is just, bitch, I'm a cow. I'm not a cat, I don't say meow.
And now she hates her fans. Look at that. She started with shit posters. She got shit posters as fans, and now this is where she is. If she dies young, it's unfortunate.
How old is she?
I have no idea. She's got to be like in...
Hey Siri, how old is Doja Cat?
Doja Cat is 28 years old.
Oh, she's too old.
No, that fits perfectly.
I'm just kidding.
Holy shit.
Imagine she dies like next year.
It would fit almost like...
You heard it here, folks. FBI's gonna come knocking on my door.
we got some questions to ask you. No, it's... I don't know, it's... conspiracy, well, I mean, and it's just... It's a fun camp story, I guess you could say that too.
Yeah.
That's really, I guess, what it is. Like the Hello Kitty legend.
Mm-hmm. The creepypasta.
The creepypasta, sure. But this has some truth and some legend to it. It's just me.
Yeah, this is pretty. This is actually really interesting.
Yeah.
I got hella invested into that.
Yeah, you could ask my dad like more stuff about it. Like he.
Yeah.
Because there's also like a documentary. I didn't get to watch it because I found out it existed yesterday about like the Crossroads thing about Robert Johnson. There's also a movie about Crossroads starring like the Karate Kid, like the OG Karate Kid.
Oh.
Where he actually tracks down William Brown, who helped Robert train, basically. So the story goes, at least.
Uh-huh.
And this is interesting. I think in the movie, Willie, he's terrified and he's like always on the move because he also made a deal with the devil too.
And what he's coming to collect.
Yeah,
so
basically.
That's why he doesn't stay too long in the same place.
Mm-hmm. That's why people think that's why Robert was constantly moving like town to town. Even going so far, like he met up with a small blues guitarist, and now he went out of his way going from from Tennessee to Arkansas, to going to Texas, to going to Canada, to New York. Like he was going all over the place, and then just ended up back in Memphis, basically. So people just think that he was just constantly on the move to just not get caught. I feel like you're gonna try it like later on.
Me?
Yeah.
Sell my soul to the devil?
No, just to be like at a crossroads.
Yeah.
It's just basically any 4-way intersection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a crossroad right here.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, ooh.
Yeah, I feel like, as I was making the notes, I feel like you were going to talk back to me like during it, being like, oh, I'm going to stand there and just stick out my fucking middle fingers and just like, oh, fuck you, devil. You just like constantly like...
Maybe I gotta be a musician. I'll go out there with like some drumsticks.
Just beat the shit out of the devil with it.
I'll be like, hello, anybody home?
Menigaya, and then just start...
Oh, was that you, Papa Lickbutt?
My bad, man. Yeah, that's all I got though.
That's probably one of my favorite ones. Yeah.
I mean, it's just history at the end of it.
Yeah.
And it's just cool history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Oh, this is definitely not related, but I think this is actually a story I was gonna cover, but it's very recent. But I'm not gonna cover it. But apparently, in Arizona, on Halloween, there was a group of boys. They called themselves... It was a gang. A wannabe gang. They had a gang name and everything too, which is so fucking stupid. They beat up this kid to death.
What?
Yeah. They beat the shit out of this kid on Halloween. at a party. And finally one of them, the last one, got arrested. And immediately his parents were protecting him. They took him to like a different house miles away. The lawyer was all like, make sure his fingers heal up and shit like that. And he was boasting about killing this kid. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And it was like a group of 7 boys.
7?
7 boys.
Holy Jesus.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm gonna see his name real quick.
Oh, that's terrible.
I was gonna cover it, and I was like, it's a little too close, and I feel like it's a touchy subject. Maybe I shouldn't cover it just yet.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Well,
I know his name is Preston. Yeah. Preston Lord. Basically, yeah, they tried to cover it up and everything. These sick children.
Related to my story, people, when dealing with like criminals and like bandits or whatever, when they were executed for their crimes, they would usually either bury them or like hang them at the crossroads.
Wait, repeat that again? I'm so sorry.
When dealing with like bandits or criminals, towns would, after they executed them for their crimes or whatever, they would either bury them or like just basically show them off at the crossroads. So like any like incoming people, to like any oncoming wannabe criminals, basically, because
show an example.
To not only show an example, but because since Crossroads is also seen as nowhere, because you're in the middle of everything, but also nowhere at the same time.
Yeah.
So is the thought, at least, that their plan was to just bury you nowhere, which is just at the intersections. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's really crazy.
Old-timey people, man, they were fucked up individuals.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's gonna end it for this episode of the creepy caffeinated, wrong one for the Caffeinated Creeps podcast. We can never get that right. Happy Eclipse Day, everyone, because that shit's tomorrow.
I'm gonna be asleep.
Oh yeah, we're both gonna be. No, actually, I'm gonna be at work. It's not even gonna come through here, which is I'm actually really upset with. I've always wanted to see one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's on my fucking bucket list.
Oh. Sorry about that, homie.
We said to live here. Yeah. I mean, I got nothing else. You?
No, just don't sell your soul to the devil.
And anyway, thanks everybody for stopping by. Leave a like, follow if you guys are new. Share the podcast with who everything's going to enjoy. We are your hosts, Ray and Mr. Butternubs. And we'll see you guys on episode 24 of the Caffeinated Creeps podcast. Bye-bye, everybody.
Deuces.